All right, so when you think about streaming data, there's really one name that just dominates the conversation, right? Kafka. But what if you could get all that power, but without all the headaches? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. We're diving into Redpanda, a seriously cool modern streaming platform that is definitely making some waves. So let's just kick things off with a big question. We all know streaming data can be, well, a nightmare to manage. It's just notoriously complex. But what if it didn't have to be? Seriously, what if it could actually be simple? And for so many engineering teams out there, this is just their day-to-day reality. Real-time data is absolutely critical. It's the lifeblood of the business. But the tools we have to manage it often feels like you're just constantly putting out fires. It's a massive source of operational pain. And that really brings us to what you could call the streaming data dilemma. On one hand, you have this huge business need for data that's basically instant, lightning fast. But on the other hand, the platforms you need to deliver it are just incredibly complex. It feels like a constant battle. So when we talk about traditional streaming, what are we really getting at? Well, it's a ton of moving parts. You've got this high operational complexity, for starters. Then you're juggling completely separate systems like ZooKeeper just to keep everything coordinated. And don't even get me started on constantly trying to tune the JVM it all runs on. You add all that up, and you're looking at a super high total cost. And you're not even getting the most out of your powerful modern hardware. Okay, so if that's the problem, what's the solution? Well, this is where Redpanda comes into the picture. It's a platform that's all about giving you that classic Kafka power, but dropping all the heavy operational baggage. So what is Redpanda exactly? It's a streaming data platform that is, and this is the most important part, fully compatible with the Apache Kafka API. That's the key right there. But the big difference is that it was engineered from scratch, from the ground up, with three things in mind: simplicity, performance, and a much lower operational cost. And you can see how its core design goals directly attack all those pain points we just mentioned. You want simpler deployment? Bam! Here's a single binary, no external dependencies. You need high performance? It's optimized for modern multi-core hardware. You want lower operational costs? Well, fewer moving parts means less stuff to manage and less stuff to break. And it's built for the cloud, with cool features like tiered storage baked right in from the get-go. Okay, so that all sounds great, but how does Redpanda actually pull it off? How is it so different? Well, let's pop the hood and take a look at some of the key architectural decisions that really set it apart. Man, this is where you really see the difference. It's night and day. On one side, you've got the old way, Kafka. It runs on the JVM, and it needs a whole separate cluster like ZooKeeper just to handle coordination. Then you look at Redpanda, and it's just one single self-sufficient C++ binary. That's it. No JVM to tune, no ZooKeeper to manage. It's a huge, huge simplification. And here's another really smart architectural choice, this time around data safety and replication. Kafka uses something called an in-sync replica model. Redpanda, on the other hand, uses the Raft consensus algorithm, and it's built right into the broker. You can almost think of Raft as a built-in voting system that makes sure all the copies of your data are in agreement. It's a much simpler, self-contained way of doing things. This is so cool. So the fact that it's built in C++, not Java, is a big deal. But it also uses something called a thread per core model. What does that mean? It's kind of like giving each individual core on your processor its own dedicated private worker. The result? Redpanda can squeeze every last drop of performance out of your hardware. And this is a huge reason why it can deliver such ridiculously low latency. Okay, so we've seen how it works under the hood. Now let's put them head to head. A direct comparison so we can really get a feel for the trade-offs when you're trying to choose between Redpanda and classic Apache Kafka. This really lays it all out, doesn't it? For operations, you can see it right there. Kafka is complex, Redpanda is simple, a single binary. For performance, both can handle high throughput, for sure, but Redpanda really focuses on delivering lower latency. Now, the big one for Kafka, its major advantage, is its absolutely massive and mature ecosystem. You can't ignore that. Then you have other key differences, right? Redpanda has that built-in tiered storage, and the license is different too. It uses a business source license. And here is the number that makes everyone's ears perk up to 10 times. Redpanda claims its architecture can lead to latencies that are up to 10x lower than what you'd see in a typical Kafka setup. And for workloads where every single millisecond counts, that is an absolute game changer. But we have to be realistic here. This is super important. Kafka has been around for a long time. It has a massive ecosystem, mature client libraries for pretty much everything, and a giant community. Redpanda's ecosystem is still growing. So what does that mean for you? It means if your project relies on some niche, specific Kafka library or tool, you absolutely have to validate it, test it out, and make sure it works seamlessly before you jump in. So after all that, we get to the big question, right? Is Redpanda actually the right choice for you and your project? Let's break down some of the ideal use cases and then talk about how easy it is to get started. Okay, so where does Redpanda really shine? Well, think about high volume event ingestion, like logs from all your servers or click streams from a busy website. It's perfect for that. It's also a fantastic fit for real-time analytics and dashboards, event-driven microservices, and all those modern AI and machine learning data pipelines. And of course, it's a super compelling option for any team that's already on Kafka, but is just getting crushed by the operational complexity. And getting started is designed to be, super straightforward. You can install the single binary yourself or just use a managed cloud service. You create your topics using their command line tool or the web UI, and then, and this is the really magical part, you just take your existing Kafka producers and consumers and point them to the Redpanda broker. That's it. That Kafka API compatibility makes the whole process pretty much seamless. Yeah, this quote really just nails the key takeaway. If you're starting a brand new project from scratch, or if your team is just really feeling the burn from your current complex streaming setup, Redpanda is a seriously compelling option to look at. So, I want to leave you with this final thought. As our data systems get more and more powerful, they also seem to get more and more complex. So maybe, just maybe, the most valuable feature of all, the real superpower in data streaming today, is just simplicity.